That's it. Now which one you want? That's it. That's different. Come on, now that's different. Which one you want? Which one? No, that one. I want that one. Which one you want? Okay, everyone. Once again, thanks for joining the channel. My name is Jonathan.
I am Galen.
And today, we want to discuss and basically share with everyone 3 major steps that we have taken to start preparing for our move to the Philippines. Now, these things help us very strongly financially in order to prepare and just basically hunker down without giving up the things in life we enjoy. So let's go into the first one. Our first biggest thing we did was we moved from out of our house about a year ago and moved into an apartment. The reason for that, because if everyone, those of you who know about the housing market, when you're trying to sell your house,
it takes time.
Yes, it takes a lot of time. They'll say, well, it
takes years.
Right. You can have a realtor and they may tell you they can have a house sold in a month or they can have it sold within 3 months, and a year later you're still trying to sell your house. The thing about that was for us in the planning, we wanted to alleviate that stress. We wanted to be out of the house into an apartment so we can automatically start downsizing. Mm-hmm. And we knew we was going to be going to the Philippines at the end of the year, which this was last year, for 3 months.
And that cut our expenses also from the houses where we live, and then going to an apartment, it cut a lot of expenses.
Oh yes. Having a house, the taxes, the upkeep, we had grass, I had my lawnmower, I had the weed eater, all of that. Mm-hmm. We had the light bill, the electric, the gas, the water bill, the sewage, which is some areas the trash. We've had all of that. Mm-hmm. And just the upkeep on it and trying to put all that money into it, moving into an apartment where our electric bill and our gas bill is very low, and of course we get free water living in apartments here in Arkansas. It cut down on our expenses big time, and that's why that first move was one of the important moves. Now, mm-hmm. Some would say that, well, we should have rented the house out while we was in the Philippines, but we just did not want to have to deal with that. Mm-hmm. We wanted to downsize, get into an apartment, so it make it very easy for us when it's time for us to get everything together and move to the Philippines. We don't have the headache of trying to sell a house. Some of you may not be in a house, but you may be in a larger apartment. And can you downsize to a smaller apartment to basically not only save financially, but going ahead and kind of picking through some of the things that you have in your house that you don't want and you don't need, instead of trying to wait till the last minute to get rid of it. So the second thing, baby, go ahead and tell them, what's the second thing?
Stop overbuying. Like me, I buy a lot of stuff, but I buy something that is like, for me that is needed.
Right. See, and that stop overbuying is.
But I have to think twice if this one will be good or not, something like that.
And you're right, because now we still have our Starbucks. We want our Starbucks. We still go out to eat. We still do the things we enjoy.
We don't cut back on our food.
Right, and we don't cut back on what we basically enjoy.
Yeah.
Correct.
Especially when we're buying organic food, that's not a cutback, because those are most expensive than the regular food that we use,
Yes,
in groceries.
And I love saltwater fish.
Yeah.
But we live in Arkansas, and of course we have Arkansas's freshwater rivers and lakes. So it costs a lot more to buy fish, saltwater fish.
That's most of our expenses goes, the food.
Right. So here, but the thing that goes into that overbuying or cutting out some of the buying is it something at this point in time that now we know that we have planning in effect and we're taking these steps to move to the Philippines? Is it something that we need? Do we need that appliance for the apartment? Do we need those extra decorations to put in our apartment? You know, is it something that we can take to the Philippines, or is it something we have to leave behind? If we can't take it to the Philippines, or if we can't get it cheaper in the Philippines, you know, if we can get it cheaper in the Philippines, no need to buy here in America. Because then you got to worry about shipping it to the Philippines. So my point on that is, you know, I'm not going to buy a lot of appliances. I am not going to buy extra furniture for this apartment when we know that we're going to leave. But another
We
thing,
don't really have a lot.
But-
We don't.
and then another thing on that,
We exposed most of our stuff from the house that we lived before.
oh yes,
Yeah,
yes,
here.
yes. When we moved out of the
We
house,
chose everything that we really needed and put it here, and the other one we threw it. You know, not
well, we
give it away.
didn't throw it away. When we had the house,
We gave it away.
we gave our lawnmower, my rake, all my yard equipment and different things like that, the things we had for our dogs, we gave it to a good friend of my wife because she has a yard, she has some dogs, and we gave it to them. Now, we didn't want to sit there and try to sell everything, and we'll have a future video about that later on, but we didn't want to try to sell everything to people when we was downsizing. We gave it to people who wanted it, could use it, and who needed it. So, but we haven't, in a later video, we've been discussing, and we will put it out about, are we going to buy a shipping container and ship items to the Philippines in a shipping container, or are we just basically going to ship about 5 Balikbayan boxes?
Yeah.
So we researching the amount to ship, and we're researching the container. Because if you're going to ship 10 Balikbayan boxes for about $80 to $100 a box, then you might as well get a container for that $1,000. So that's what we were discussing, but we haven't made a final decision on that. So, but we are gonna make that video on what our final decision was. Did you want to say something on that, Baby Girl? About the shipping container, or
Yeah, the shipping container. I guess it's an advantage also for the shipping container because we can ship everything what we have here, and then if some of our friends want to ship there also, they can just join us. They can just put their stuff here also in the shipping container. Where the disadvantage of that is it takes time also, as what we've been researching also, that it takes time to reach there.
you know, and the thing
And
about
then
that, like
the
I said,
cost also, the cost.
yeah, well, we're going to put out another video, but the thing about that, we haven't decided yet on that shipping
That side,
container.
yeah.
Because when you buy all this extra stuff, it's going to cost to ship. And that's going to bring more to your expense. So when you're saving money by downsizing your living quarters, you don't want to spend it all on buying extra stuff that you don't need and spending on a shipping container that you basically don't need if you wouldn't have purchased all that extra stuff. So now, let's get to the third thing that we're doing to make sure that we are preparing ourselves to take that next step and move to the Philippines. Third thing is we're going to talk about money to our family members. That's not the family members, let's say, in America, but that's definitely also the family members in the Philippines. But here's why. Well, if you don't know, Filipinos are very family oriented. So as we live here in America, my wife's family, even though they own different businesses, they may call my wife when they need some money or extra money, or they want something. My wife has how many nieces and nephews do you have? About how many?
About 10.
Okay, so what we want to do is, a lot of times they may want my wife to sponsor their birthday parties, each one of them. It gets expensive. You help the family support. And I don't mind helping them to, if they trying to add or do something with their business, but I'm not the type of person who just like to keep giving people money, because then you taking money from me that I'm trying to build a future and I'm trying to save and reach my goals. So it's important to have those family talks and talk about money, because as we're narrowing this down to get and ready to prepare to move to the Philippines, that money that they may have been calling for and we may gave them in the past, we're not looking to do it. Now we're
saving it.
Right, we're saving it. If an emergency comes up, that's one thing. But send money to have this elaborate birthday party, send money because my brother-in-law, one of my nieces may want a cell phone, that's all going to be cut out. That's all going to be cut out. And I'm going to also make another video just personally myself talking about the money conversation that needs to be had once I get to the Philippines, because we're not an open bank. We support family members support us, but I would not want one of my family members to be hurting financially because they're giving out too much money to the other brothers and sisters, just like here in America. So even in America, we know, and if you in Canada, if you in the UK, Australia, Germany, you all know sometimes you got to have a talk with your family members about money so that they can see the goal that you have. Anything about, you want to talk about money with family and just the importance of supporting family, but family members understanding that, hey, we can't give you every dime we have, then we won't have any money to even discuss buying a shipping container. Because we want to have money for a plane ticket.
Yeah.
So,
when they talk about money, there's a lot of it's not just even my not my close, but my family, but even outside the family, it's like the
like your cousins and friends.
Not cousins. Yeah, cousins. They probably ask me, but they will understand if I said no, I don't have that money, because it's not that easy here to find money. And then, especially my family, I told them like that. But most of those people that I kind of hurt, some friends, faraway relatives, they keep calling me, sending me something like this. Especially if they saw me online on Facebook, they keep sending me, if I could help them. I said, no, I don't have that money. I can't even send some money to my parents or my nieces, especially. I love, most of my expenses is going to my nieces and my nephews. I said no. Sometimes I just, erase their messages because I really don't wanna,
So basically,
spend too much.
So basically, like in America, if you're giving all your money to your family members, you have none for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
If you're giving all the money, if you have adult children and you're giving them all your money to help them because they're not financially getting things in order and they're not financially working on their goals, but you are, you can never complete your goals because you're just giving everything to them. That's very important. So the three things that we've done in order to prepare ourselves, the first stage is, over a year ago, we moved from our house into an apartment. Okay. Now we're going to stop what?
Stop buying.
We're going to stop what? Yeah, we're going to
needed.
Stop overbuying for what we don't need, and then the last thing.
Talk about the money with the family.
With the family members. So, Baby Cody, is there anything you want to add before we end this video?
It's hard for me to stop the buying.
Don't worry, I can help. I can help her with that. But Other than that, we have nothing further. Please subscribe and hit the notification bells so you can keep getting these videos. We want to try to make them more informative, educational, to help you out in your decision if you're going to move to the Philippines, stay in America. And other than that, once again, I am Jonathan.
I am Galen.
And we thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.